Yeah, there we go. All right, that's a little self round of applause on that one. Wanted to get this thing going again. So I took a look at the video I did prior, and it was a little too dark. Now we're a little bit brighter as that went. Got the microphone a little bit closer, so hopefully that helps out a little bit as well. And a few other things. I noticed that the setting on the Facebook page was incorrect, and I wonder how it is set right now, but you can go take a look at that. And I'd be curious to see myself if that works. I can't do it right now. Anyhow, listen, very excited about this whole thing. We're going to get that podcast started again. As I mentioned, it's going to be called I Know Brian. Why? Well, because you know me. And if you don't, hoping you do. And we're going to follow along with some of those things that, well, honestly, that are of interest to me. Why? Well, my show. How's that work? Works out pretty well. But I want to talk about those things that lead to exciting careers. What about those things that we talk about publicly that are debated amongst many people and maybe come up with their own solutions to do that? And I really want to keep it specific to the Long Island community, although I'm sure there are so many things that we are dealing with here that are applicable in many other communities as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Guests. What kind of guests are we going to have on this thing? Wide variety. And let's narrow that down to wide variety. Definitely want to include those amazing people that are going out there and accomplishing things, working through challenges. By gosh, how important is that? Look, we all know the realities of life is that it's not a straight line. If you're going to start your own business, it's not like boom, you're an overnight success. Probably takes you 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe a lifetime to get to that level of success. There's a lot of stories out there for that one too. But the most important thing about being able to have a successful business is being able to deal with the trials and tribulations as that goes. Also, do participate in a bunch of these high school career days and things like that. Meet some incredible people along those in those places just as well. You know, it'd be nice to share those stories. Just yesterday, I was over at the West Islip School when we had a. It was a great event. It really was. You know, the folks that are running that school, anywhere from the superintendent down to the teachers, the administrators, those that are running the special projects and things like that, they're just incredible. And every one of them is so integral to making that thing work. The vendors, the companies that were participating at I was going to say at the trade show. I got the HIA trade show in mind over here. And the Miller Business Center, they got that coming up. Those will be other things to discuss too. The participating companies that were at this career day over at West Islip School, I started chatting with them, and I can tell you, it's so in line with this whole concept of what I've been talking about with the whole idea of a motorsports park. Did they all build race cars? No. Actually, none of them built a race car. None of them did. But the ones that I really spoke to were in the manufacturing world and also the defense contractors. And here's the conversation I had with them. I was like, if we can give these students the ability and the resources needed to work on radio controlled cars, perhaps autonomous, but radio controlled cars, maybe go karts. And Rick was there with me from LI Karting, so that was part of that conversation. And perhaps even cars. And the West Islip School has got an automotive program. Next week we're at Oceanside High School. They absolutely have an automotive program that's going on. Three Village have been over there too, same kind of thing. They have an automotive program that is at a level right now that they want to continue forward. But here was the conversation I had with some of the manufacturers. Here is the conversation I had with some of the defense contractors there. And these defense contractors are working on the airplanes and also with the submarine world. I was like, look, if a student gets involved at the high school level, maybe even earlier, but if a student got involved at the high school level and they're building and operating radio controlled cars, similar to battle bots, except they're not destroying the things, but trying to make these cars go quicker, handle better, maybe autonomous. If they're involved with building go-karts, they're learning how to weld, they're learning electric, they're learning teamwork, they're learning project management. Same thing with the cars, that Oceanside School, what those students have learned by building those cars. Two cars in a boat already. by building those cars. They have learned everything that, or at least been exposed to, the idea of electric, the idea of welding, the idea of paint or no paint. Patino got included in that one. They did event planning, they did all kinds of things. But just staying on the build of these vehicles and working on these vehicles, whatever the size. I was like, if these students can get involved in that and they grow and have an interest in that, it seems that, and this was verified not yesterday but a while ago, that they're meeting the entry-level job descriptions for these companies. Would you have an interest? And I got success stories. Forget about the would you have an interest answer. Success stories about people that are working at these companies already, that have done these things as hobbies, whether it be in high school or college or just on their own. And they're very, very successful. There is a lot of talent out there. The question I have for you is, how do we bring this talent out in our students, in all of our students? Maybe they have an interest in welding, maybe they don't. Maybe they have an interest in the electronic side of it, maybe they don't. Maybe they want to get their hands dirty, maybe they don't. There's a lot of computer work that goes into this stuff. Maybe they just like the finance side of it, the project management side. These cars are not built just on stuff that's laying around. A lot of times these companies, these schools, these projects are getting sponsored. That robotics program, take a look at what they're doing at Smithtown. They're doing fundraisers just as long as everything else. You may never get involved in the BattleBot side of it, but you're very involved. Those students are very involved in the fundraising side. Let me tell you, and I don't have to tell you, this gentleman by the name of Mark will tell you, how do you become a successful race car driver? How do you work into the whole thing? This gentleman Chris you're going to meet too, it's the same thing. How do you become a successful race car driver? Well, obviously you need the talent to be able to drive. You also need the car. Somehow you got to get the car. But you also need the money to get to these places. And sometimes these places are just local. Local, right over here, Riverhead Raceway. It costs money to run those cars at any of the levels that they're at over there. And then, of course, the idea of what we're doing with the drag racing or the go-karts or the drifting. There's money being spent on these things. Some of it's sponsored, some of it's out of pocket, some of it's very little. Look, I ran my own car, my street car, with the racetrack, not street. The whole idea there is that you can race or run anything. And I'm going to use the word run, not really race. I didn't race anybody, maybe myself, as that went. But these students, by these students being involved in projects, they live and learn. And that's the big thing here, live and learn. How many times have you learned something just by doing it? Sometimes we learn a lot more by failing at what we do and taking a look at the mistakes that we made. But we live and learn, and that's how it happens. Hey, hopefully I learned a little bit from the mistakes I made the first time I did this thing. So we'll see. And we'll continue on with it. We'll get to this thing with guests and everything like that. And I do hope that you join along. And, that like and follow thing, I just got this on Facebook, not YouTube. But there's a YouTube channel, too, if you want to start subscribing to that. It's called I Know Brian. Go figure that one out. Have an absolutely great day. Remember, live and learn. Live and learn.